White Hart Lane. Spurs 3 points above the relegation places, Everton 2. Both clubs well aware their league position was perilous. It's John Motson in the commentary box.
Modern stadium history is made here. The upper tier of Tottenham's new North Stand is open for the first time, which means that today's sellout crowd of around 36,000 is the biggest at White Hart Lane for over 10 years. And the occasion is marked by the return to the respective sides of two influential figures. Duncan Ferguson is back to lead the Everton attack after missing the last 4 matches through suspension and injury. And David Ginola resumes his place in the Tottenham midfield after serving a 1-match ban. That's one of 2 changes from the side that won at Crystal Palace. Alan Nielsen is back after illness, so Colin Calderwood and Moussa Saeed drop to the bench. And the injured international trio of Anderton, Everson and Ferdinand are scheduled for another reserve match on Monday before challenging for first-team places. Everton have reshuffled following last week's home humiliation by Aston Villa. 18-year-old Irishman Richard Dunn comes into a 5-man defence, which is still without the suspended Bilic and Tyler. And in midfield, 20-year-old Gavin McCann makes his starting debut. Gareth Farrelly and John Oster are left out. Nick Barmby plays against the club, where he started his career. Howard Kendall in his 19th season of football management. Alan Wilkie gets this 6-pointer started. There were 2 Tottenham players in the Everton half, actually, when they kicked off, but no matter, here's Royal Fox. And bear in mind, Everton haven't won at White Hart Lane for 12.5 years. The last time they did so, the winning goal was scored by Gary Lineker. But that record counts for nothing today, as Spurs get the first free kick. Ginola and Fox over there on the ball. Vega's come forward, so has Armstrong there, and the blocked shot. Bertie struck it. It's a corner. It came off Richard Dunn. So Campbell can stay forward for Tottenham. And so too can Vega. Swirling in the wind from Ginola, and it is quite blustery here at Tottenham today. This is Klinsmann. Free kick again to Spurs. Bertie brought down. Ginola. And still Vega is forward. That could have been dangerous. It was Dunn who cleared it. Christian Gross knows that after a win last week against Crystal Palace, Tottenham need to sustain that momentum. Barmby and Ferguson setting up the play here. This is O'Kane to Hutchison. Oh, Madar is unmarked. Oh, what on earth was Spurs doing there? Barmby appeared to be pushed by Campbell in the middle of all that as well. But Madar had no Tottenham defender near him. As Don Hutchison plays the ball in, chose to play a stooping header towards an already falling Barmby. Dane beats Frenchman there. This is an Italian, Bertie. Well, the ball was won by Barmby from behind. Fairly, said the referee. This is McCann for Everton. And a good long kick by Walker. Look at this, Armstrong really gets 3/4 of the length of the pitch on his clearances, Ian Walker. Ferguson. Spurs again slack in defence. Shouldn't really have allowed him room there, surely. That's forward by O'Kane. And back by Campbell. Now McCann. Ferguson for Everton. To Ball. And here's Madar. Oh, trouble here. Barmby's in. Corner. Ramon Vega did just enough to stop Nick Barmby. It's Madar who heads it through, and Vega challenging Barmby. And that was short. This is Watson! What a good chance, didn't get hold of it properly. Twice then opportunity has beckoned Everton here. And Dave Watson had the chance when the ball was knocked down from the corner. Ginola for Spurs. Shaking them off in stride. 3 ahead of him. Here's Armstrong. Down he goes in a tumble. Nothing given by the referee. And I don't think Chris Armstrong could have expected a penalty there. It was a bit untidy. He was in a tangle with Craig Short. Now it's Wilson for Spurs. And still. It's a good run by Clive Wilson, but he didn't quite have the angle to get in the perfect cross. Corner off Short. Curled in by Ginola. Campbell's at the back! And he beats the ground in frustration, Sol Campbell. Feeling perhaps he should have scored. It's curled in by Ginola beyond the last defender. But in fairness, he was challenged, Campbell. It came off the side of his head. That's Ferguson's touch. Out to ball. Madar well forward here, number 7, offside. And somebody kicked the ball away there, and the referee shows the yellow card to Mikel Madar, who expressed his frustration, and 2 Everton players are now in the book. He's still protesting. Oh, and that through ball finds Madar onside. Tottenham were dreaming in defence, and Madar scores for Everton. And the Spurs defenders stand and look at each other. And Mikel Madar, within seconds of being cautioned, puts Howard Kendall's team ahead. But where on earth was the Tottenham cover? 24 minutes gone, and the through ball played by Nick Barmby found Tottenham square, but yards behind Madar, who slides it past Walker as he comes out. And in this match of such critical importance to both teams, Everton, who are coming from behind Tottenham in that relegation scramble, take the lead. And now Nielsen. Well, Ginola's getting plenty of the ball. It's a question of what he can achieve in the Everton half. He's been taken out there by John O'Kane, and here comes another yellow card for Everton. Or is it? No, it's for Ginola. It's for Ginola for presumably acting. Well, we had the situation last week at Crystal Palace where the referee booked Armstrong in similar circumstances. Ginola has been booked by Alan Wilkie for presumably diving there following the tackle by John O'Kane. And somewhere in there you'll see the great Bill Nicholson, the club president, who on his first day as manager here in 1958 saw Spurs beat Everton 10-4. This is O'Kane, and that's a dangerous ball into Madar, except that he's offside, and Spurs can quickly take the free kick and convert defence into attack with Bertie. Touch by Klinsmann to Ginola. Fox, Carr, Armstrong, no. Fox will try again for Tottenham, but they're running into defenders at the moment, Spurs. Here's Ginola. And still Ginola! It was whizzing past the post, and not very far past, I would think, from this angle. Thomas Mura may have had it covered, but it was a spectacular individual effort from Ginola. My word, it could have crept in. He hasn't had perhaps the best of halves in terms of end product, but that wasn't far away. And neither is the half-time whistle. And a team talk that will test Christian Gross. Here's Campbell. Half-time, and a decidedly different situation to last week here. Everton showing resilience, pinching a goal on the break, defending well, and Spurs unable to open them up and showing signs of anxiety themselves. Half-time, it's Tottenham 0, Everton 1. Well, during the half-time interval, the crowd here at Tottenham were able to watch the Grand National on the two giant jumbo screens, and there was something of a connection because the horse that won is partly owned by a Tottenham season ticket holder and former youth team player Ricky George. But Spurs have got a few fences to clear here if they're going to pull this match round. Everton now playing from the right, and this is Vega for Tottenham. And there goes Armstrong, he's onside, he's got Jurgen Klinsmann in the centre, and Rule Fox is moving up. This is Nielsen to Armstrong. And still, oh, Klinsmann was waiting to tuck that in if it had come that far. And Madar stretching Campbell, looking for the free kick. But he's been something of a thorn in Tottenham's side. It's pretty impossible to overestimate the importance of where the points are going today. And you can bet your life that Everton are going to hang on to this lead with as much tenacity as they can muster, and they showed plenty of that in the first half. This is Ball. And now it's Fox. Armstrong in the centre, so is Jurgen Klinsmann. Touch there by Nielsen to Klinsmann, who couldn't get his shot in. Everton defenders falling in front of him, and now Vega has fallen and let Ferguson away, and Madar's coming into the centre now, and there's Madar, and there's Ferguson, who makes a real mess of that. The chance that should really have gone in, and it would have been 2-0 Everton. There was nothing wrong with the approach play. Vega slipped, Madar got away, combined with Ferguson, who plays the ball in here, is then in the right place to get Madar's return. Beautifully laid off, and dear me, what a wayward effort. 30 to Fox. And again Rule Fox. He's got Klinsmann in the centre along with Ginola. That came off done, but only as far as Carr. And still they line up on the far side of the area for Tottenham. And Klinsmann's there. Just gets underneath it. Referee telling one or two players to calm down as Klinsmann's header goes over. Had a long chat with Michael Ball, who he booked in the first half. This is a difficult situation now for Spurs, and one that Everton are coping with at the moment quite comfortably. Ginola. He's got Klinsmann to his right and Fox. Still Ginola. And a corner it is. Well, Spurs have had plenty of corners, a string of free kicks. They haven't yet made good use of any of them. The backing from the new upper tier at that end of the ground could be invaluable now. Ginola plays it back to Bertie. On to Fox. And still Rule Fox. Oh, it's a brave header that. But it's not away yet. Here's Ginola. John O'Kane, who dived to head that clear initially. Back in by Vega. Here comes Klinsmann. And Muir, a magnificent throw. Look at this, it's Barbie. Wilson trying to cover, Nick Barmby for Everton, and Duncan Ferguson tries to reach the loose ball, and two Tottenham players are flat out. But it could have been much worse for Spurs. That was a magnificent piece of distribution by the Norwegian goalkeeper Thomas Müller, and the man who latched onto it with equal intelligence was Nick Barmby. It happens here. Müller hurls the ball out from his 18-yard area, more than half the length of the pitch. Barmby got away from Wilson, but Walker shut him down. But Spurs are more concerned here about the condition of Clive Wilson. He came across here to try to close Barmby down, and as Barmby went past him, there was nothing wrong with what Barmby did. It was the awkward way in which Clive Wilson fell.
Substitution for Spurs replacement.
Well, not much is going right here for Christian Gross. Well, Klinsmann picks out Carr on this side and then goes into the penalty area to join the others. Here's Klinsmann! Oh! No! Just past the post. It looked from one side of the ground as though it was in. A startling header by Jurgen Klinsmann, having started the move out to Carr. He was on the other end of it. It's got power, that has, but look at it, it just shaves the post. Just wonder what Christian Gross might decide to do if Tottenham don't find a way back into things here. He's got Saib on the bench. But for the moment it's Hutchison with a long ball beautifully delivered towards Duncan Ferguson, who made a better fist of that than he did of a much easier chance earlier. Here's Ginola. Oh, Nielsen in a good position here for Tottenham. Great block, Klinsmann's in the crowd. Comes out to Fox. Blocked by Dunn, indirect free kick for obstruction. Well, an awful lot went on in there, but there's no doubt about the outcome. That is a case of obstruction on the line. It's indirect, otherwise it would have been a penalty had it been a different sort of offence. But you don't need to tell Christian Gross how vital 3 points dropped here might be in terms of Tottenham's chances of staying out of the bottom three. But by the same token, Howard Kendall knows that if Everton hold on here, it gives them real hope. That's Rule Fox. And there goes Saib, it's his first touch. Klinsmann! Oh, that struck short, I think. It was on its way in, surely, or it certainly would have brought a save from Müller, from Jurgen Klinsmann. Now it's Duncan Ferguson at the other end, with Madar making a run through for Everton. Cut out, importantly, by Vega. Well, there's no telling what might happen now in what was billed quite rightly as a relegation battle at White Hart Lane between two clubs who a few years ago were part of the Big Five. At the moment, they're part of the bottom five. Hutchison will take the free kick for Everton. It's over towards John O'Kane. But he can't turn Sol Campbell, who's played in that left-back position before, of course, earlier in his career. Here's Madar. And it's Ginola. And the two forward players go either side of him, Armstrong and Klinsmann. He's found Fox with a better ball. It's Rule Fox for Spurs. Great blocking again. Richard Dunn, the 18-year-old. Heroic, really, the way Everton have closed down the Tottenham forwards. Vega and Campbell. There's Colin Calderwood. Vega! Feels for handball. Referee is unmoved. Oh, this is tense stuff. Nielsen for Tottenham. There's nobody wide left. He's got to come this way to Saib. Drifted in. Good ball in. Header on. Oh, it's Armstrong. Armstrong got it. It was headed on by Vega. And Spurs have equalised. goal after just coming on. A piece of invention here. And Tottenham are level with 17 minutes to go. Armstrong got on the end of it. But it was Saib who drifted that lovely ball in. Watch Ramon Vega. He heads it back across the goal. In comes Chris Armstrong. And with the header, he makes it 1-1.
Equaliser for Spurs after 73 minutes 25 seconds.
O'Kane and Hutchison now combine. In the centre, Duncan Ferguson, Nick Barmby and John Spencer all kept waiting. Came off Fox to McCann. Good turn there by Ball. And here he is again. Good effort by Ball. What a good save too. Michael Ball. The 18-year-old had the final say there. It may be the final say in the match. What a good effort it was too from the left wing-back. Klinsmann and Armstrong are up ahead. This could be the last throw. Good challenge by McCann, and finally the whistle goes. Defeat today for either team would have been unthinkable. Howard Kendall's team led for a long time and made it very hard for Spurs, who eventually, with Christian Gross making a substitution, drew level with Chris Armstrong's goal. And so a result that perhaps at first sight doesn't help either club that much. They'll be going back to the dressing room now to look closely at the other scores. But on the day it was a real nail-biter, and Saib's introduction rescued Tottenham and gave us a final score of Spurs 1, Everton 1.
Are you disappointed you didn't win this one?
No, I think that the draw was a fair result. We had opportunities to score, but also Tottenham put a lot of quality crosses into our area. We had to deal with that, and we did it very well for most of the game, but Armstrong got on the end of one.
Ferguson had a glorious chance that I think probably at his best he would have scored.
Well, Duncan's not played for about 6 weeks now, his suspension, then he was injured last week. He's gone out there today and he's given his all for the 90 minutes. He's absolutely shattered now. It would be very difficult to criticise him for missing an opportunity. I think he was outstanding today.
Yes, it's a good point for us. We wanted this win, and I think we deserved all over 90 minutes to win this game. Looking at the possession of the ball, also at the chances we had, especially Jürgen was unlucky up front, and the performance was good. Could be better, the result, yes.
I think we would have settled for a point. Everyone was saying we had to win today, but you know it's a tough place, especially with the players they've got. It's a tough place to come, you know, for any team, and you know, because they've picked up recently. Like hopefully, you know, we can now, and hopefully this is a stepping stone for us.
Spurs have been under enormous amount of pressure this season, but do they feel that they have the capacity to stay in the Premiership?
I think so. If I look at the other teams, I think we have enough quality to pretend to stay in the Premier League. But you know, everybody can say the same thing, and it's a big fight. It's 6 games to go, and everything is possible.
Spurs, do you think that Spurs deserve to win that one, Trevor?
No, I thought it was a fair result. In fact, for the first hour, probably Everton were the better side. I mean, when you get 2 relegation teams, quite often the away team relaxes that a little bit more. There's not so much pressure from the home supporters. And I thought Everton, you know, played well on the counter-attack. The Spurs midfield, I mean, you looked at Fox, there was Bertie, Ginola and Nielsen. None of them are ball winners. And there was quite often, you know, big gaps and no one then, when the ball ran loose, picking it up. So I thought overall, you know, it was a fair result.
Mr. Gross obviously thought Spurs did pretty well, but that defence didn't look watertight, did it, throughout the 90 minutes?
Well, I think the worrying area is the central defence. I mean, you've got 2 international defenders, Sol Campbell, of course, England player, and then Raymond Vega, who played so well for Switzerland against England, but they don't seem to gel. You know, they're very flat and square. I mean, the first goal is terrible, really. This is a header. Sol Campbell miscues, and it ends up with Nicky Barmby, and just as he plays it through, I mean, you know, Madar goes through, but look at Vega's out the picture. He tries to step up. I mean, he was 5 yards playing him on to try and play offside in that situation, and then you've got no chance of recovery. And again, you've got Ferguson with Vega. It's a fairly straightforward run. Madar clips it over the top, and Stephen Coe, who played well today, covered you know, and got really Vega out of trouble. Here, another early in the second half, Vega slips, Ferguson is not the quickest. The Sol Campbell then comes across, sells himself, Madar with the back heel. This should be 2-0, you know, 3 or 4 minutes into the second half, and will they have come back from that? Don Hutchinson again, Ferguson just straightforward peeling off the defender, pushed a bit wide so he hits it early, and that is, you know, for me, basic defender. Who am I? But it was so obvious watching the game that, you know, this shouldn't be happening. I mean, well, you're a defender, Mark. Why do people, you know, try and push up and play offside when all they've got to do is to stay with the runner?
Tell you what, Ray, I know I watched the other day when Trevor Brooking put somebody away on this programme.
That's right.
I thought Alan Hansen's already done this this season, but now, I mean, this is it now.
But it was bad, it was bad.
That's right. I think the thing with Vega is he reacts to danger. He doesn't anticipate it as a defender, and I think that's the worst thing that you can do. And I think Trevor made the point that it's so straightforward, the runs. You know people are going to run into the back of you, and you've just got to be aware of it.
Now, you were talking about the partnership there, Sol Campbell, and from England's point of view, Sol Campbell, it's important he's playing well.
Yes, I mean, he struggled probably a little bit because of the anxiety in Spurs generally. With England, of course, they play as a 3, and now they're playing a flat back 4 with Spurs. I'm sure it gets sorted out by the time the World Cup comes around, but it's not encouraging.
Now, what about that Spurs equaliser? Hint of offside there?
Yeah, I think, well, you know, Duncan Ferguson puts his arm up. Musa Saiba, I thought, did well in the short spell he was on. As the ball's played in, you can see at the top there, Short and Armstrong, and Short is the last defender, so he is playing Vega on as it's clipped forward. You know, Ferguson's got his arm up, but peeling that Vega's offside. He's not. He heads it back across, and Armstrong, you know, quite bravely falls in. But the question is, what about the header? And as Vega heads it back across, you can just see the head and the shoulder of Armstrong. I think he's half a yard offside, but the referee's assistant at the top says no, and who am I to begrudge Spurs a point?
Trevor, what have you had for tea tonight?
Nothing, that's the problem.
All letters gratefully received.
Now, Lee